finally defeated you. You want to deceive me again with even more lies. I won't give up, and I will uncover the truth. Was it all a dream? What is happening? I only remember a letter where someone asked for my help. Without hesitation, I set out on the journey. And where has this led me? Are these only horrific visions, or is it a hurtful truth hidden in the shadows? Your soul was fighting with nightmares, while your body was locked in a cell to protect the world from darkness. Darkness resided in your heart.
Boomer shooters have been growing in popularity in recent years. This idea that a first-person shooter needs to have the best graphics, omnidirectional movement, expensive to create action set pieces in order to craft an atmospheric, challenging experience worth players' time is being exposed as false again and again by dozens of inspired development teams all around the globe. Many of these games vary in quality, but one of the truly great recent examples was 2022's Forgive-Me-Father from Polish team Bite Barrel. That game was a sleek ode to all eras of id Software's classic genre-defining franchise, Doom. It had the aesthetic and level design of Doom 1 and 2, the switching between weapons and illuminating the environment that Doom 3 was known for, and the almost RPG-like quality of player and gun evolution from Doom 2016 and Eternal. It was a very satisfying combination, and its epic, lengthy campaign made it my favorite indie boomer shooter, aside from Neon White, which I think fits less into the category than most games people would reference. No, Forgive-Me-Father 1 was the ideal boomer shooter experience. Jump a few years later, and Forgive-Me-Father 2 has presented itself to be much more than just an ode to Doom. With this entry, Bite Barrel has distilled what makes their now Forgive-Me-Father franchise tick. Some Doom DNA is left behind, to be sure. There are key cards in the usual primary colors and secrets to be found nestled away, but the moment-to-moment gameplay is noticeably different. Unlike many boomer shooters, Forgive-Me-Father 2 has gun reloading mechanics. These weren't there in the previous game. I know it sounds simple, but in a genre where reloading is actually often a non-issue, adding it into the tempo of a bloodbath can be challenging. Another significant difference is the flashlight. The first game had a lantern that, like I said earlier, was an homage to Doom 3. You could only ever have it out or a weapon out. It's a sometimes fun mechanic that has been redone for the sequel. Instead of alternating, players have a dedicated button for charging their flashlight, which can then be used while fighting. It too is a fun addition to the rhythm of gameplay and helps the game find its own identity rather than just be referential. As such, the levels of Forgive-Me-Father 2 are largely darker than in the previous game to account for it. Speaking of the levels, they are spectacular. Forgive-Me-Father 2 is a bit shorter than the original game, but what the audience gets in exchange are much more thoughtfully crafted environments with art that is more colorful than anticipated, and a larger variety of enemies. Each level is crazier than the last and is paired with an equally pulse-pounding soundtrack. With the structure of the game this time being centered around a hub location of an insane asylum, player progression is taken out of the pause menu and put into the hands of two asylum orderlies who separately handle your weapon upgrades and your tome upgrades. What's the tome? We'll get to that in a second. Instead of gun evolution, the armory is a little more streamlined than before, with categories of guns to be purchased and their superiority really only to be decided by the player. There are more guns than the original game, with some of the most memorable carried over. However, the best guns are all new. The variety here is amazing and is almost reminiscent of the cornucopia of weaponry in a Ratchet & Clank game. Never thought I'd be making that comparison in this review, but here we are. Back to the tome. Now, Forgive-Me-Father 1 first of all had two playable characters, each with a different set of abilities. The sequel once again streamlines not just down to one protagonist, but one power as well, the tome. It's a magical book, like a Necronomicon if you will, and the ability to use it is charged by killing enemies. The other asylum orderly sells pages that alter what the tome does and how often it can be used. Only 3 pages can be active at any time, so choosing which to use ends up being a very strategic decision. Juggling the weapons, the tome, and the flashlight, all while descending further and further into the depths of madness, is an exhilarating experience, and one I won't soon forget. Go play this game. Go play the first one too. The devs clearly left this one open for another game to follow, so we're only going further down from here. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, dislike, send me a death threat. Honestly, anything helps.